U.S. Office of Personnel Management Data Breach, No Routine Hack, Chapter 8 Case Study Presentation by Hannah Ross for CIS 2050 online. Some salient points of this presentation is that the U.S. Office of Personnel Management, also known as OPM, is responsible for background checks and security clearances nationwide. This means that they closely work with any government positions and the background checks needed for that in the employment route, as well as drug testing, screening for criminal infractions, anything like that. In April 2015, they discovered a hack that was believed to have been active for a year. Based on data, they think it started in March of 2014. They also believe that it was done by a Chinese government group, but no Chinese activists have claimed responsibility. It's important to note that this was handled with poor leadership and accountability on management end and resulted to unnecessary spending of billions of dollars. Some current IT events related to the company. UPM is currently going through a multitude of policy and administration changes. They are implementing a rotational IT development program, which is going to work towards their security, and they're continuing to spend upwards of $65 to $80 billion on this security. I was asked to list and describe security and control weaknesses at OPM that are discussed in the case. What's really exaggerated is that user credentials were stolen through social engineering. This means that it could have been done through email, media, anything of that nature. There was improper storage of security data on management's end. This means that passwords were not protected, and I'll talk about this later in the presentation as well. But there was really a failure to prevent any outside intrusion. What management, organization, and technology factors contributed to these problems? How much was management responsible? As I mentioned before, there was poor upper management, not much formation in any company policies. Poor data protection, there was no decided place where the data would be stored, anything like that. And management could have established better communication channels as well. What was the impact of the OPM hack? OPM has since launched better security programs, such as the rotational IT development program that I talked about earlier. This is really working to ensure that this doesn't happen again and to make sure the government data is protected. There have been massive amounts of spending on security, and it's really just been pushed how important the data is and how it should be kept secure. Is there a solution to this problem? Explain your answer. I think that this problem could have been avoided if there was more of an established process in which the data would have been stored, in which the company would have protected passwords, anything like that. But as a solution, I think that OPM is on the right path with creating those programs to ensure that they're focusing on security and getting the top talent to secure government data. Some applicable course concepts is encryption, which is the process of transforming plain text or data into ciphertext that cannot be read by anyone except the sender or receiver. When something's transformed into ciphertext, it means that it will turn from plain English to some kind of code, looks similar to Braille. And that only the original sender and receiver of the message can actually see the plain English. They also could have established firewalls, which is talked about in Chapter 8, which are a technology protection system that prevent unauthorized users from accessing private networks. You can see this in your everyday life when someone from down the street isn't able to access your Wi-Fi. Some case updates. OPM has since spent multi-billion dollars on protection. The case study reports $65 billion. I'm sure it's climbed from there. This was reported from 2015 to 2017. FBI and Homeland Security has also taken measures to protect citizens. As I mentioned before, OPM protects data of employees of the government. And FBI and Homeland Security jointly sent out a memo when the breach occurred and has since been working to ensure that these prominent figures' data is not leaked to the general public. How can we learn from what OPM did and implement more effective practices into our own companies, especially in management roles? I think that we need to establish clear practices, have that set storage for passwords and documents, have a set person who the passwords will go to, and really establish those open lines of communication. If this breach were to happen 10 years from now, what would be different? I think that technology is always evolving, so it would be drastically different than any point that it is right now. If people continue to trust putting their data into technology, if there is a massive breach like this, it could be a lot worse, with social security numbers, bank information, credit cards, anything like that. But on the flip side, there may also be better methods of storage that are heavily protected with firewalls and encryption and everything like that. So it's really just a toss-up of what would happen.